Now, Castile got home after riding around with Lucia, the sea dragon, and sea dragon said, "Well, come back in a couple days, bring a gift, and we'll have someone else come by and visit with you, and show you around some different things like you ain't never seen before." So Castile said, "Hey, that sounds cool. What kind of goodies can we go see now?" So a couple days later, Aron comes back and Castile's there and got a couple of books. And he looks at them and said, "Well, okay, these are pretty good books. Love story, history story, science fiction," which they kind of laughed at. And the reason he laughed at the science fiction, because he brought a friend with him. Friend's name was Zephyr. Now, Zephyr is a large black space dragon. So you kind of see how the science fiction sort of, weirded out with Zephyr coming in. So Zephyr sit there and came out and said, "Well, we're going to take you out and let you see what space looks like, because there's a lot of different things out in space that most people don't get to see. I mean, space just isn't the most friendly or inviting type of place that you want to go to. But Zephyr's a space dragon. He lives in space. He goes all over space. So he takes Castile and puts him on his back and launches up into the sky. And Castile is like, how am I going to breathe in space?" And Zephyr just sort of turned around and looks at him and says, "Dragon magic. How do you think you're going to live in space? You done went to the sea dragon, went all over the sea, didn't drown, did you?" "No." "Well, you think I can put you in space without getting you killed in space? I can do the same thing." "Oh, okay. Sad. Don't worry about it, bozo." "Oh, wait a minute. Castile. Bozo was the last client I lost. I mean, last person I took on a trip. He didn't make it." Anyway, I'm a little better this time. So, they went up into space. And the first place they went to was the moon. And no, contrary to popular belief, the moon is not made out of green cheese. Used to be the big story back in the day. Yeah, the moon was made out of green cheese. No, it's not made out of green cheese. It's basically a big rock. It's big, round, got a bunch of craters in it from where all the meteors keep hitting it, because it doesn't have a atmosphere around it. So without having an atmosphere, what the atmosphere does with the air and everything like that is it helps prevent meteors from hitting the earth, because they get in the atmosphere and they kind of the air and everything like that, and the friction, they kind of burn up, so you don't get the big, all the meteors that hit. Where the moon doesn't, no atmosphere, meteors hit, great big craters all over the place. Nah, no problem. No water, no life, big rocks. It is what it is. It's a big dust bowl. So anyway, after they went to the moon and Cass looked around the moon, said, "Well, hey, this is kind of cool. Got a nice view of the Earth from the moon. They, never get to see this before." Said, "No, no, no, no. This is a nice view. You get to see this." And one of the most awesome views that Cass got to see was sunrise from the moon. So you're looking at the Earth, and the sun is coming around the Earth, and you get a beautiful sunrise from the moon. It's a beautiful, beautiful sight. So then they went up and said, "Well, we're going to sit there and go look at a couple other things." And they went up to Saturn and saw all the rings around Saturn, and Neptune and Uranus also have rings. A couple other planets have rings too. But you don't see them as much because of the angle that they're on. You really can't see them until you get up close to them. But the rings from Saturn you can see, and they went through and they flew through the rings of Saturn, and hey, this was kind of cool, what the rings of Saturn are. There's great big chunks of rocks and ice. Saturn being a big planet, a couple of little guys got too close to it. Saturn reaches out, punch, flat, breaks them up. Now they're just sort of scattered all over the place. Yeah, you get too close, you get your butt kicked, and all of a sudden you're scattered everywhere, and you just circle around for ever and ever and ever in eternity. Bunch of big rocks and big chunks of ice. And they went to Neptune and looked at theirs, and they said, well, they went to Venus. Now, Venus was named after the goddess of love. Venus is not a loving planet. Venus has an atmosphere that will kill you quicker than a heartbeat. It just, dead. Don't worry about it. It's a pretty planet to look at from a distance, but Venus is totally unhospitable. It is a gaseous planet. Got stuff below it, solid rock. Nobody's ever been down there because of everything that's there, but the atmosphere is poisonous. Don't go visiting it. You won't like the results. You're dead. So then they flew out and they stopped by Mars. Mars is a red planet. They say it's red. Got sand and dirt, and it's a big pile of rock there. People say there used to be Martians living on it a long time ago. Actually, they're all hiding underneath because they don't want the crazy Earth people to find them. So they got a huge city and civilization, but it's all under the crust and underground, so that these damn pesky peoples can't find them. And then they went out and they saw a couple of the other planets, and they went out and saw Pluto. And Pluto's upset because one day it's called a planet, one day it's not called a planet, one day it's called a planet, one day it's not called a planet. But we're going to be nice to Pluto and call Pluto a planet. It is way out there, long way away, but yeah, we're going to be nice and we're going to call Pluto a planet. That's because Zephyr, the space dragon, who knows all this stuff, says Pluto is a planet. So we're going to go out there and see the planet. And then we got out there. And when they went out there, they were seeing all kinds of things. And first thing they went and saw, they saw a pulsar. Now, what a pulsar is just a little sun. About the size of a city. I mean, they're not real big, but it puts out radio blasts all over the place. And, they looked at that and said, hey, that was kind of cool. And then they looked out and they flew around. And, I mean, Zephyr's flying fast. Zephyr's a fast dragon. He can fly the speed of light and everything like that. So they're getting around out here pretty quick. It's not like they're out here for years and years and years. Because if they're out there, if they weren't able to fly faster than the speed of light, you wouldn't get out of there for years. So you gotta. Zephyr's pretty quick. He gets out there, way, way faster than the speed of light. And then they went out there and they saw a quasar. Quasar is not the TV. Used to be TVs called the quasar, but they're, I don't think they make them anymore. But quasar, and a quasar is a massive, massive, huge. Anyway, great big black hole. And it actually, the center of the galaxy, actively gobbling up everything that gets to it. Black hole is highly concentrated gravity. And it sits there and it sucks in everything, including light. So Zephyr can't get too close to it, and it will grab Zephyr too. And he doesn't really want to go into a black hole. Can you go in there, dead, no problem. So he sits there and tries to avoid black holes, as he said, and he knows where they're at. He can see them. You can feel them with that huge gravitational pull. But a quasar is a massive black hole that's got a bunch of stuff around it, and it just kind of eat stuff up. So you got to kind of be careful about them. And then they went to what is called Hell World. Yeah, it's out there. Always wanted to know where it was. It's out there. Don't go looking for it. You don't want to be there. It is a literal lava planet. It is hot. It is nasty. It is an entire planet, almost the size of Earth, made of lava. And it's called Hell World. Is that where the devil lives? Well, I'm not going to really say that one way or the other. I don't know. All I'm going to say is I really don't want to go out there and find out because it's probably not a very, very good place. And then they're looking out in the distance and they see what Zephyr calls Stephen's Quintet. What is Stephen's Quintet? Stephen's Quintet is 5 huge galaxies, all real close to each other. And you can look out and see them. Gotta have a pretty good telescope or a nice pretty space dragon to take for a ride. If you find Zephyr, let me know. I want to go with you. I've tried to call him. He don't answer me. I don't know. I guess I got the wrong phone number for him. I don't know. But if you ever get a hold of Zephyr and he wants to take you out there, hey, let him know Grandpa wants to tag along for the ride too. I'll even pay. I'll buy lunch or something. I'm good with that. But Stephen's Quintet is 5 galaxies, real close to each other. Kind of cool to see. You get a chance to look out there and see them. They're kind of cool, but you got to really look at long way away from there. But maybe Zephyr's a nice guy. If you sit there and you get a hold of Zephyr, let me know. I want to go. I want to go ride too. And then they went out and saw Megastar. Now, Megastar does not mean one of these Hollywood bozos who thinks they're me all that. No, that's not the kind of Megastar that we're talking about. A neutron star or a megastar. Great big. A neutron star is an extra powerful magnetic field. It will suck in everything. Not quite as bad as a black hole, but it will suck in everything. And it usually happens after a star goes supernova. When it goes supernova, it overheats, it blows up, boom. This is what you have left. Little bitty rock. But it's got all the magnet. Instead of being a huge like the sun is, it's that big. Okay? That big. But it's still got all the magnetic properties of the big star. So it's called a megastar. It is very powerful magnetic. Kind of get away from it. And if you get anywhere close to it, say 500-600 miles or so, it's just going to dissolve all your atoms. So you want to stay away from it. It will bye. No, good, no good. You don't want to do that. And he took him to see Hoag's object. What the heck is Hoag's object? It's a galaxy where most of the stars are contained in a ring around it with a center galaxy that looks like a sun, and then there's a bunch of galaxies all around it. So it looks like a tunnel. And you got the headlight of the train coming through the tunnel with all the lights around the tunnel. It's kind of cool to see. It's got a bunch of blue stars in it. 100,000 light years across, which is wide. Basically what that means is it takes light as fast as it travels 100,000 years to get from this end to this end. That's how light travels. That's how they measure stuff in space. So 100,000 years to get from one end of the galaxy to the other end of the galaxy. And you ain't gonna get there anytime soon. Zephyr, like I said, Zephyr can do all kinds of weird things. If you get in a spaceship and try and get there, you're gonna be there for a while because it is 600 million light years away. So It takes light from that place 600 million years to get here. You look up there, you see it in a telescope, and the light that you're seeing and what you're seeing from it happened 600 million years ago. Is it still there today? I don't know. Zephyr says there's something there. I don't know. But 600 million years to get there, you know, I don't think I can pack enough snacks to last that long. You know, I'm not sure if I can. I'm not sure I can pack enough snacks to last 600 million years. That's kind of funny. So he went out and saw them Omega's Nebula, also known as Heaven's Gate, and it's a beautiful, got birthplace of stars. This is where people say all the stars were born, and when they're born there, then they spread out amongst the universe and the galaxies. So a nebula is a rich with elements, and the Omega Nebula goes by the name Swan Nebula because it looks like a swan, it looks like a big bird out there. There's also Heaven's Gate out there, which you want to see it, and you can actually see some of it if you have a good pair of binoculars and you're in the right place. You just gotta look. I'm not sure where it is. They really, he didn't tell me. So, but maybe if you look one day, you can, get a telescope or something. Maybe we can go out and see it one day. I don't know. That's something we might try to do one day. So those are just some of the things that Castell and Zephyr saw. And they saw meteors, and they saw comets, and they saw spaceships. No, Earth doesn't have any spaceships out there. We're not going to tell you where they're from, but there are spaceships out there, and Zephyrs smart enough to avoid them. Some of the aliens are friendly, eat they go home, and some of them not too much. Ramblings, Klingons, just not Cardassians. Some of them are real friendly. Some of them are pretty nice, but best thing to do, leave them alone. And there is something real funny about some of these aliens out there. When they come by Earth, they lock their doors. They want nothing to do with here. And they stop by a couple times looking for intelligent life. They ain't coming back. So obviously, they really haven't found any intelligent life out there. Here, um, we keep looking for intelligent life out there, but I think maybe we ought to look for intelligent life here too, because it's in short demand, short supply, and everything like that. So after flying around space and seeing all these cool, nifty, neato things, Zephyr brings Castell home, and he drops him off. And even though it seems like they were gone for a long time and that they saw thousands of different things, they were only gone a couple of hours, because when you get out in space and when you're traveling faster than the speed of light, time kind of slows down. Some weird, funky physics things that I don't pretend to understand. I don't know. I'm not my ball of wax. But he came back, and guess you know, that was cool. I had fun out there in space, and obviously I didn't die or freeze to death because of dragon magic. Kind of like that dragon magic. Wish I could harness some myself. So Zephyr told Castell, well, get some more books. No more science fiction books. And we know, those really don't do any good. But get a couple more books and come back in 3 days. And in 3 days, I'll have another dragon here. And this dragon will be called Trixie. And Trixie, the name means bringer of joy. And Trixie is a mountain dragon. And Trixie, the mountain dragon, will take you to see all of the great mountains around here. Until then, young Castile, go take a nap and a bath. You stink.